works. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's do it. I'm all for
Okay.
that.
Intro.
Aloha, we are live.
Okay. Hey guys. Welcome everyone. I'm just gonna see if I can hit my intro. See if it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it
Okay. We're slowly coming back. Aloha, everybody. I think Rob froze. So we'll just wait. Hi, everyone. I'll just say hi to everyone. Hi, Andromedan. Aloha, Karen. Aloha, Flix. Aloha, Selena. We've got a good jam-packed show today. Hope everybody's doing well. Hi.
Yeah. Am I still frozen?
You're unfrozen now.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have one of my favorite guests with me today, someone I do a lot of shows with. I met her through Indigo Angel. I have a good friendship with Indigo Angel. So like the three of us, we kind of all work together. We do shows together on and off and stuff like that. And who I'm talking about is Pink Bella Aloha. She's a Pink Bella Aloha therapy. She's an Ascension multidimensional guide and wayshower. 12 to 22 chakra, quantum healing, energy balance, and quantum healing, higher self liaison, Akashic records reading, and quantum multidimensional healing, quantum healing and releasing of implants, JSEALS tags, twin flames, starseeds, prosperity and abundance activations, and pet communication as well, and distant healing she does as well. So she does it all, and we should be streaming to both our channels and to Rumble. So this is so you should get a good turnout. So thank you everybody for coming in. And Pink Bella, thanks for coming back on. How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you all doing? How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good. I feel like like I told you, I went on a 5-mile walk today. I'm trying to get in shape, so I did like a 5-mile walk, and then I was exhausted when I got back, so I took a nap, and now I feel like really refreshed and like really charged up and ready to go. I'm drinking my coffee.
Yes, that sounds amazing. I made a really powerful green smoothie before the show, and I added coffee to that. That's my little trick when I need some coffee quickly.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I got that from another Starseed sister a while ago. Just keep some leftover espresso or whatever you've made, put it in the fridge, and then you've got some on standby.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So what are we going to be getting into today?
Well, we've got a lot we're going to talk about. And of course, again, this is all for entertainment purposes. And, we're going to look at everything from different perspectives. But we just came through the 1111 gateway. And there was a theme with my client, last few weeks that everybody's moving into they're either being called up on soul mission. So there's really powerful soul mission activations. There's also a wave of new being starseeds light workers that got activated in the last couple of weeks. We're also, believe it or not, we're aligned with the Palladian system right now. We're in a Palladian portal, and it happens twice a year. It happens in May and November. So the Palladians are also really supporting those of us that are connected to that star system with moving into feeling supported about moving into soul mission. So one of the titles was Soul Mission Activations. A lot of us are receiving that right now. And we're receiving these downloads, these schematics, these new sacred geometry, color rays and everything. And mostly what happens is we have to sleep. We have to sleep to integrate, we reboot, and then we come back online and we remember more. We're like, oh, I've got new ideas, right? So that's kind of how it's working. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like I've actually started to get downloads of information, but it's more like self-healing. It's like something's telling me how to what I should be doing to heal myself and getting better. And that could be downloads from ETs or what do you think are they trying to just guide us to ascension? Is that
I'm getting my God bumps. So that usually means a yes. That usually means I a firm yes. I get my goosebumps. Yeah. What's interesting with the Palladian constellation, even if this was coming in from them before the show, even if we don't feel like we connect with them, everyone sort of feels like they're connected to a certain solar system star system more deeply, but they're very much about healing. They're very much about coming in and making sure that we're well. and guiding us into our wellness. So it makes sense to me, like, that they're around us right now, letting us know we've got, you know, especially all of you in the US, you got a busy couple of weeks coming up, right? You got the whole festive holiday, Thanksgiving energy, this whirlwind. It feels like a vortex to me. Like, even though I'm in Canada, I feel Thanksgiving energy. It's super interesting. So yeah, I agree. I think that is downloads from our higher self and from our counselors that we're working with, because they want us to be stronger. They want us to start gaining momentum, especially those of us in the, you know, with the Northern Hemisphere. We're heading into winter, which is like hibernation season, where we do need a little bit more rest. We are being guided to rest a little bit more. And then we have this alternate reality that wants us to socialize at the same time. It's fascinating to me.
It is. It's very interesting. Like, it's going to be a busy couple months. You know, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, so should we do a collective reading for the collective? Or
yeah. And what I did was I already pulled the cards just to save us some time. So, you know, if other people want readings today, I'm not having to shuffle right now. So I just asked in general what they wanted all of us to know for the call today, because it's like, you know, everyone who's here, or whenever you listen to our broadcast, there's going to be some messages for you. So what's super interesting, a couple things, and I think this came actually from the last show. So everybody has a soul mission, but our soul missions will always change. They'll always evolve into another level. And I feel like that's the crossroads a lot of souls are at right now. And then I want to talk a little bit about battling, like, the dark arts and battling the dark ones, because that's a different type of mission as well. Okay, so overall, what's super interesting, we got the Earth Star chakra. And for those of you who are new, or those of you, you know, who have worked with me already, the Earth Star is part of the new 12 chakra system, where it allows us to connect in with, it allows us to unplug from the matrix, also known as the holodeck, also known as the hologram, and move into the crystalline grid, where we're more connected with our mission, and we're more connected. It allows us to be less distracted from what's going on in the matrix, which is not always easy. That's part of our challenge, right? The clarifiers keep our vibe high, 3 of Cups, right, at this time. So the Wheel of Fortune came in, and this is a super cool message, because when the Wheel of Fortune comes in, that's our destiny. So the wheel, I asked for a clarifier. The wheel has turned, and it's turning for many of you. So don't despair, all of you. If you don't know what your mission is, or you're not sure what direction to go in, that clarity is coming. And the Queen of Cups also came in, and that's like, they're reminding us to try and stay out of our head, and because the head creates anxiety and stress and worry, and move back into our heart and ask our heart which direction. And that's always there's another message always about spending time in nature, slowing down, breathing. So important at this time of year, for sure.
I got a question. I just thought of this. I was going to say, do you think that, like, astrologically things are still a little bit like wonky? Like, because I've noticed that, like, some people, and I'm not going to say who, but just like different people in my life are acting like still strange, and like a little bit, like, some people are standoffish, some people are a little bit aggressive, some people, you know, I guess you're going to get that on the internet, right? You have to have thick skin, but like, still, like, I've noticed people acting like really aggressive, and I don't know if it's something in the energies. I remember, like, back when the war started, like, that astrologer Mario Maharez came on my show, and he told me that things were going to get a little bit crazy, and they did. It seemed like everybody. And like, so, like, where do you think we're at with all that, if that makes any sense?
So apparently, I just saw a really well-known astrologer in Australia. She just said officially the eclipse door just closed. I thought it had already closed. So I feel like you're correct. I feel like there's still a fallout. That's when everything happened overseas. It happened during the eclipse season. So it's like everything imagine those snow globes. I feel like everything's been shaken up, and everyone's sort of landing where they need to land. And I feel like a lot of the souls maybe who are struggling, maybe who don't want to, are angry, all that emotion comes up. They want to project it onto someone. And I know I'm going to share this with you, Rob, because it's important for everyone. The brighter our light is, the stronger we get into our mission and our abilities. They come through other people, places, things. And I feel like even the comments on our channels, I don't feel like they're even through people. I feel like they're nanobots and AI correlated as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so I guess we have to find a balance between still caring for people, but making sure we satisfy ourselves and fulfill our own mission. And so not to be totally self-conceited, but so still help people, but realize that we're on our own mission as well. Does that make any sense? Or
Yes, it does. And I think that's when we're supposed to withdraw. And what I've learned over the years, because I, like you, I've been on YouTube since I think 2016, like quite a while. And I used to get very upset and very offended. I was a people pleaser. I wanted to please everyone. Then I've realized, like, we have to follow our guidance and share what we're being guided to share. Not everyone's going to agree with us. People are going to come and go. But if a comment comes in that's really mean or nasty, I just delete it and just send the energy back, just return it back, because I don't want the vibration of my channel. I want it to be high vibe. I don't want it to be like lower vibrational. Yeah. So for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I just had a few more messages for the collective. I'll just move through it fairly quickly. One of the other messages that came in is that it's so interesting. So basically it says the Venetian Galactic Council, but the message is to answer the call. So some souls on here or watching later, you have answered the call, but maybe you don't know which direction to go in. You're confused. Or so this is the overriding. The Galactics are bringing us more of a beacon of hope right now, of like, keep going. You're gaining strength, you're gaining momentum, and don't worry about what's playing out in the movie as best you can, because that's our challenge here, right? To stay focused, stay aligned, and not get drawn into the drama. The message that came in is the 8 of Swords. Am I saying that right? Yeah. And this person is like blindfolded and confused. There is a path, but not sure what the path is. But then the star councils are in and around us. They're very strongly aligning with all of us right now. And so I worked with the Pleiadians first. This is super interesting because we all have a different path, how we awaken and what comes first. The Pleiadians came to me first, and that was very uncomfortable for me because the internet was before the internet and there weren't a lot of other people sharing about it. So I didn't even know if the beings that I were connecting with were of high frequency. But the universe guided me to a reader, guided me to a new age shop to go to get the right book, that somebody had downloaded information about the Pleiadians. And even in the book, they said, when you work with us, make sure you're saying the Pleiadian emissaries of light. And then that way you're aligning with the team that, is of high frequency, is working on behalf of humanity. So I just wanted to share that all with you. So how I pieced it all together, then I worked with the angels, then I aligned with Source. We're all moving back into our reconnection beyond the matrix to Source, whatever the universe, whatever we want to call that. And we're going to work with different levels on the way. And there's no wrong way, because what we want to set the intention for is that we're aligning with the mission of light. We're aligning with creating a better planet, whether that's our family or a location, all of that. So we do the best we can every single day, basically.
Yeah. So you wanted to get into dark ETs and the current grid systems. We hadn't talked about that yet.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, jump into Rob if you want to, because I know you interview a lot of people as well. So what they were sharing with me today is there's different levels when we get activated for mission. Like my mission's completely changed since 2016. So they kind of were showing me like a video game or any type of game where you move into other levels. So we get lessons and initiations along the way, and those are to help us move more into our heart, but clear out ancestral imprints and old information. And some of that is connected to the dark. So some of us have come in and some souls are connected they have a lineage that's very reptilian. They have a lineage that's connected to the Anunnaki, and they're trying to find their way home. They're trying to find their way out, and or they're being, in a way kind of controlled. So those programs keep everybody attached to the old grid system, which I love the movies, The Matrix, Star Trek, the holodeck. Like it's all like we realize that we're in a game and that we need to level up. So one message that also came in was that what we're seeing unfolding in the world right now, so Maui, what's happening in the Middle East, what recently just happened in Acapulco, and there's probably going to be more like I think I saw that there's some fires in California again, and like that, there's going to be these things that pop up all over the place. We're being shown that the grid system where the dark ones, where Team D, where they're in control of the grid, or there's like a dark portal that they're able to get in and out of. So we're part of our mission as well is we're understanding that we also came in to heal the grid and move out of that grid and help elevate into the new grid system. And we're just being shown on a higher perspective that there is a battle going on, and it's on all levels. You know, it's not
Speaking
just on Earth. Yeah,
I was going to say Indigo Angel's having a grid worker event. She's still in Algeria. I interviewed her live from Algeria, so she's going to do a grid working event like live from Algeria. I guess I think that's tomorrow, the 15th. I put the
okay. I've been working on my own grids here on the West Coast, so I haven't. But yeah, she's a very brave starseed, because she's very much like on the ground, dealing with the dark ones on the ground. And that's like a different version of grid work. But it's a great intro into like, I think somebody on your Telegram was asking about this. Some souls really came in. That's their mission. They came in to battle the dark. They can not just with, we all have like these imprints within us for healing, but many came in to actually be boots on the ground and go face to face with them in certain locations. And that's like, not everybody's supposed to do that. I think that's what I wanted to get to, that we may experience that as part of our initiation. I had to start experiencing that energy July 2017, right before the first eclipse went over the US. My third eye opened and I started to see a lot of that. And that's quite often why a lot of souls their third eyes are not open, because there is a lot of stuff down here that would scare a lot of people. So we can feel stuff, we can get information about stuff, but you might not want to see a reptilian face to face. You just might.
I agree. I think Courtney Brown said it best. He said like he was filming those UFOs, and he said it's basically like Star Wars up there, but like we can't see it. You have to film it a certain way in infrared, but then it's weird because like there's that girl I interviewed from Canada, wherever she's up in Montreal, I think, and she sees them every day. Like she's seeing like the craft, like, but I guess they choose to show themselves to people, right? Would that make any sense? Like
yes, and I actually remember we were sharing last time about the UFO documentary person here in Vancouver. He's been filming UFOs here since 10 years. I finally got a hold of him. And what he shared.
Yeah, we want to get him.
Yeah. So we'll try. He said probably in the new year, but what he shared with me is that he's not seeing the ships as much. He feels they're cloaking.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wanted to share that with you. Like he did email me back, and we'll talk to him a little bit more like in the new year, but I'm still seeing them, but I'm out of the city. Like I'm out in kind of a more rural area, and there are mountains. But yeah, he said he hasn't been filming them as much because he hasn't been able to see them. But the cool thing is he was filming them way back in 2015, 16. So he knew what was going on way back then. So super interesting. But yeah, they will cloak themselves. And I feel like they're all in different areas depending on what's going on.
I love the comment from the audience. Flicks Love, she's so funny. She says they're hiding from us savages. LOL. I think that could be right, because a lot of people on Earth could be considered that. Yeah. So that's I mean, like I could see. I mean, if I was an ET, I would be afraid to land here. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if you were an ET and you landed in the wrong place on Earth? Okay. People are going to be firing guns at you and everything.
No. Well, of course, look at the movies, right? The movies have shown us these horrific storylines where all they do is they come in and they blow things up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's interesting. But no,
I think that's done on purpose, right? That's done on purpose because they want to sway our perception the way they want us to think about them. Like that, maybe it's like if you think about like the guy you're talking about and this girl from Canada who sees them, maybe they want certain people to see them because they want us to know that they're benevolent or something. Or maybe there are, but then there's Courtney Brown who says they're all the planet's being controlled by negative ETs, and I don't know. And then there's people who talk about.
But I feel all of it's right. So this is the really cool thing about the game that we're in. All perspectives are right because it's multidimensional. So we can choose based on where we're at and what our mission is to be on a certain timeline in a certain reality. So if we want to battle the dark ones, that's the part of the grid system we're going to be activating and be part of. If we're going to be, so I've been moved out of that because last year I was like, yeah, Pink Bella's all about joy and high vibes. I'm not really digging that. So I recreated my contract to move myself out of that because I wanted to work from a higher perspective and help a whole bunch of souls. Like, I understand it, but I don't want to be boots on the ground dealing with that on a day-to-day basis, right? So, but I will tell you, I've been working with the dragons to close dark portals in my area. That's been one of the assignments I've had for about a month now. So I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of it, but I'm choosing not to be in that reality. However, there are souls, like we were just talking about Indigo. She's called to go boots on the ground and go to these locations and do like unbelievable stuff. She's a warrior, and so our missions change, but our missions are different. And we could probably correlate it back to what we designed before we came in, what our major galactic star astrology is. Some people came in saying, I'm going to be boots on the ground and battle all of this for humanity. And I'm being shown right now to start to train up people to activate the overlays, the high vibrational grids, so that we have more starseeds and light workers doing all of this stuff all the time, wherever we are, because there's so much work to be done in a short period of time now. Yeah. So, which is cool. We've got so many people awake and so many people ready to level up.
I agree. And someone said, Karen L says, I love that viewpoint, Pink Bella. So people really like what you're saying.
Good.
I agree. Yeah. So, but are we dealing with like frequency fences? Do you agree with that? Are there like?
Oh, I like that terminology. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. So, Rob, share about that. Share what a frequency fence is.
Well, a frequency fence is something that would basically keep us in somewhat of like a prison planet type situation. Like we can't get out of it, and souls apparently can't get out of it. And then it's part of like this soul trap reincarnation conspiracy theory that, that we're embedded in a frequency fence, and then that like the souls, when they leave here, they go up to the moon, and then they're recycled back here. But people say that's being dismantled now. Like people say that's old, and that's no longer, and that like this is our last time doing this. Like we won't have to reincarnate over and over again. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with all of it. And I think souls are at different levels that need to understand each piece of it to move out of it. I feel like that's why we incarnated, is to help, to be the boots on the ground crew, to help the galactics from our end. And then they're helping us. It's as below, so above, and as above, so below, to help them move into what they can do. So that, we still have, what's the word? They have the non-interference law, where they're not really allowed to come in and save us, right? And that was my request from them 94 when I was at the pyramids. Can you just land the ships so we can just get on with it? And they laughed at me and said no. So that was my first conversation with them. But what we're doing is what a clever way to do this. Let's have starseeds, light workers incarnate. They're not going to know what they're doing for a long time. Then they're all going to start popping awake. They're going to have to do their shadow work to clear out the programs, the imprints from the matrix. And as they level up, they're going to understand. So yeah, the recycling program, I believe it wasn't just the moon. I think Mars and Saturn were also involved, and they were recycling everyone to the Orion system. But I believe a bunch of us also came from the Orion system, came here. We know about that. And no, our choice is to be sovereign. No, we're not doing that. So we're all working in our own way, whatever our mission is, to raise our frequency, to raise the frequency of where we are. And that's helping the benevolent galactics do their bit to help us move out of that.
this might sound like a real simple question, but do you think a lot of us came from Atlantis and Lemuria? Like, do you think a lot of us like reincarnated from those times, like to where it didn't work out and now it's working out, and or maybe it's supposed to work out in this time, but like we were also involved in that. That's why a lot of people have memories of like Egypt and Atlantis, and because they might have been from those times. Do you see that?
Absolutely. A big portion of my journey, and even why I got called to go to Egypt, was to help me remember about Atlantis. So I had if I look back at my grid work was the Atlantean, all of that area, the ley lines that went down to the pyramids for a long time. I kind of completed that in 2018. But we have so many memories about that. And I think the reason that many of us are here is to correct the timeline so that it doesn't happen again. Because if we look at what's happening out in our modern world right now, it's been a slow progress. And maybe we can get into the AI stuff now. It's been a slow progress. Like, look at how fast technology, like suddenly AI is everywhere, right? It's just right? It just started as like, oh, you do this. Now every single person I know is talking about it. People are using the programs. Like, it's just everywhere. And it has accelerated so fast this year. And I'm already getting a headache about it. So it's so really the grid system that we're leaving, that we're dismantling, that we're activating this new higher elevation frequency grid. And we have to be high elevation. We have to be in our hearts. We have to be a more understanding that we're energy, that we're light to elevate our areas. The old grid system, I've been given information that even the old stargates are dismantled energy from Atlantis, like left over, and that a lot of it is still controlled by the dark ETs. They've been what's the word? Compromised. And basically, the bottom line is, now we can talk about the stages of the AI. The AI is an upper level controlling it all, like that energy is manipulating the matrix. They're really controlling all of it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I know a girl, she told me she felt like she was in like the secret space program and stuff like that. She told me one day she was laying down and she saw this, like she all of a sudden she was able to see, and she saw an AI mechanism that had control over her whole area. And she said she felt like she had to dismantle it. And so I don't know if they're doing that to us, like subconsciously, where we can't see it, or where they're like trying to install AI. And I have a lot of people come on my show and they say that we're already being controlled by AI. So
we are.
I don't know. It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's
so I have had clients come to me that have seen them. I've been shown after the fact, like the spider technology. That's like it's not the black spiders, it's the electronic AI spiders. They seem to be able to come in cities. Cities are big areas. They seem to be, like, I had a client recently who even shared with me that she saw a big one attached to a building. And I said, I was glad she shared that with me, because most of us can feel them. I feel it's all connected to the dark portal energy. Like, if I'm walking and doing grid work and I feel nauseous, I know I've entered into like this area that is controlled by something else that is not at the light. So I don't want to, I'm choosing not to look at them all day. I don't want to see them, but I can feel them. And I definitely feel that the cities where there's lots of large populations, there's a lot of them. And maybe we need to prepare everyone, as your third eyes are opening, prepare to see some really interesting things.
Yeah. And that makes me think, one of the topics that you had listed for today was the dark arts, the practice of versus the practice against, or protection against. Like, did you want to get into that? That's interesting.
Yeah. So my higher self, so I was all love and light, right? And I wanted to share this too. Like, I went through I guess we want to call it a new age program at the time, but all of the levels of this game that we go through, we shouldn't really judge what people are going through, because it's helping every individual with whatever they need at that time. So what I always look at is I learn something, I heal something, I integrate something, and I move out of it. I kind of think of it as like a box. I move out of the box and I move into another level. So when I started working with the dragons, my higher self said, you need to also rewatch the Harry Potter series and start paying attention to the dark arts, what's going on there. And I was being retrained. I was being retrained to understand some of us need that information, a remembering, and knowing that, yeah, we're here in our integrity. We're not supposed to be doing that on behalf of the dark team, but we're to be aware of it. And some souls out there need those tools for the work that they're doing. So let's say if I was going to go to a really dark area of a city, I might need some of those tools to use while I'm there, like cloaking. And then other times, like I would never use it to for the benefit of me or for the benefit of that other team. Like we really have to be clear about, even if you're going to remember that information, you have to make sure your integrity and that you're choosing to be on the right team.
I agree. So are there practices we can use to like protect against it? Like, would it just be like some meditations or what do you think?
Yeah, like simple things like the violet flame, because even the violet flame, like what the Galactics have been sharing with me, think outside the box, right? We know, like when we're not in these bodies and we're not in this game, we have the ability to do everything that we need at the time. Oh, I have a funny story about a lightsaber, but why we don't have lightsabers. I'll share that in a minute. Mm-hmm. So yeah, because we have emotions as humans, we can get triggered very easily. And but yeah, something like when I really started working with the violet flame, I did gridding in Vancouver for 2 years. They placed me in an area that was not pleasant. I had to find ways to leave my building and get to the train without being seen. So I started to really work with the violet flame, and I started realizing, first I worked with the archangels, but then I thought, well, then can I just invoke it and send it? Of course. So that's a tool that I really recommend everyone get familiar yourself with, because it's an easy tool that you can send ahead to transmute energy. And it's a gift that we've been given. We at a deeper soul level, we all know how to use it for sure.
That's interesting.
So my funny lightsaber story, I'll just tell you for a second. A car tried to run me over on a crosswalk.
What?
So I was like, oh, I wish I'd have my lightsaber. I could have just sliced the car. But then my guide said to me later, that's hilarious. That now you understand why none of you have lightsabers yet. That was so funny.
That's hilarious.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. The person looked right at me and they said, sorry, we're going. And they just drove through the crosswalk. So if I hadn't have been paying attention, they would have hit me.
Oh my God.
I know that was the full moon thing. But I think like when we're out, if we're walking or driving, we really have to be grounded and staying in the moment, because people are going to just do bizarre things, like they're just going to go, no, it's more important that I go instead of you, that kind of thing. So yeah, but I laughed because I thought, geez, I wish I'd have my lightsaber. That would have been cool.
Yeah, really. I mean, it would probably teach. I mean, like people are crazy nowadays. Like
they're not grounded. I was told that years ago that when most people are driving, they're not grounded. They're not in their bodies. And I have another term for this. It's a black potion. It's a potion, a spell. So if a lot of souls have gotten a number of these in the last couple of years, they're not really themselves anymore. And I had a client recently, she was amazing. She said she's noticing, she sees people and their eyes are just vacant, like they're not in their bodies. So yeah, everybody heads up and be aware of that.
Well, do you think that's people who've like literally like checked out and now their bodies are being like taken over by some kind of AI, or they're in some kind of NPC? So like the soul is actually checked out at that point, or like, what do you think that is? Or do you think it's being taken over, or what do you?
I haven't delved into it card wise. Maybe I can look at that for the next show. But I feel that vessel is now vacant, and I feel like it's being controlled. And then we have the other realities of there's already beings here that aren't real anyway, as part of the game. So sometimes when I go out now, I play the game of who on the train is real and who isn't. And I just to see if I've got the ability to figure it out, because it's been this way for quite a while. We just didn't know. We didn't know that what was going on, Yeah.
Yeah.
So ask me if, I don't know if there's any readings or whatever, but just ask me any other questions about that you want, for sure.
Yeah, I think we had some people who did want readings. I would have to go back. I have to look through them, but we had one super chat, and that's right, guys. If you want a reading and you don't want to wait, like you can super chat. You can PayPal me. I have my phone right here. I'll see the notification, or you can super chat and you'll get your answer right away. Otherwise, I'll try to go through them and go question by question. But we had one from Selena Ingalls. She wants a reading for Shiba Winu if we're doing them today. She said.
Yeah. Is Shiba her daughter?
No, they're just friends. They're just friends.
Oh, okay.
So Shiba,
sure.
I can put a picture of Shiba up on the screen. Here she is right here. This is, if you can tap into her. I don't know if she had a question, but I
love that.
Yeah.
I love that, Shiba. I was in the theater and the only one that laughed. Yeah, that's a good hey, something's going on. So that's a good point, even about the theater. So if we're going to go to the theater, the movies, rock concerts, if we're going to go into big cities, we can really start to pay attention to the fact that we're going to start where our abilities, our superpowers are coming online. We're going to start to notice the backdrop people. Yeah, I'm getting a buzz on my left ear. So the left ear is my receiving ear. So that's like, they're just letting me know. Yeah. Just to start paying, not in fear. If we have fear about it, then we know we need to clear it out. But we're just to understand that we're in quite a game now. And I'm excited to even know, like, by the time we have our next show in a couple of weeks, what else we know. Love it. Okay.
I agree. It's interesting to see like what's going to happen from now, and I mean how things have been developing. But I think I just have a feeling that like we're kind of beating the dark. I see a lot of people aren't buying into like the war narratives and every other narrative that they want to push on us. So, and I don't want to get too much deep in it. But do you feel like that? Do you feel like we're kind of winning,
I do. Well, one thing I was going to share with you is I'm starting to see Canada open up a little bit more. And I had a client from Canada yesterday, and what's interesting, I think I showed this before, Canadians and Australians, we were given the narrative even stronger than a lot of other countries on the planet that we were free and sovereign. So we believed that our reality was good, we were protected, and we didn't have to do anything. So it's been like a very powerful program to break through. So I'm just starting to notice that Canadians are starting to realize that it was a program, which is amazing. Yeah. And so I feel that I'm really excited. Like, I think sometimes even the events that are unfolding, we're watching a battle going on, like they're trying to close dark portals and regain areas of the planet, the light team. But then we have the other side of it, of the people in the area. When these things happen, they're going to unify and work together and wake up as well. So I feel like everything that's even happened this last year is unifying all the souls that are living in the areas to help them move out of the programming.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, Shiba, first off, you're connected to Atlantis. So everything we just shared, you've got gifts and lifetimes from Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. And that actually brings up a good point, that Atlantis fell based on the dark ETs coming in, and they were doing experiments. There was AI and all of that. So we have great memories of Atlantis. We have great abilities from Atlantis, but we're not to abuse whatever comes in. But you have that, Shiba. You have information. You have gifts from the Atlantean times. You're also, wow, you got amazing reading. You're also connected to Lemuria. We were just talking about this. You can't make this up. So you've also got Lemuria, to me, is the Pacific Ocean area. I just did some work around the Hawaiian grid system with a group of divine goddesses, and Lemuria, that energy is there. If I look at it, I feel like Atlantis is more divine masculine energy, and Lemuria is more divine feminine energy. Lemuria was more about healing and crystals and receiving and like living more of a simple existence. So you're very connected to Lemuria. You're also very connected to the Arcturians. They're my go-to team right now. They're helping me with all the boots on the ground stuff I'm doing here in Vancouver. So it says evolutionary downloads. You're to recall your power, and you're also receiving future schematics. That's what I've been receiving. A lot of us are from the future. We're from a future timeline, and we're back here, recalibrating, remembering to make sure that this timeline doesn't get hijacked. And the final message that came in for you is Merkaba activation. So our Merkabas are this around us. It's a Stargate system, and they're two messages. Our Merkabas were damaged when the planet fell and when Atlantis fell. So we're part of our transformation and our elevation is our Merkabas getting repaired. So Sheba, if you don't know anything about Merkabas, maybe do some research about it as well. And it just says Ascension, you're rising up, which is a beautiful message.
There's the Merkaba meditation people do as well. I know that like Gerald Clark was very big on that. Like supposedly that's like you can like really connect to. It's supposedly a really good meditation. I don't know enough about it, but it's supposedly really good. Yeah, I hope that resonated with you, Sheba. That was really amazing.
Yeah, brought in everything that we were talking about. That's what's so amazing about it.
But that's why I wonder a lot of times if these collective or these readings are more for the collective, because I feel like when we gather together for these readings that like everybody's kind of going through a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? So the reading can kind of be for everyone at the same time. What do you think?
Absolutely. I agree. Like, I feel like the messages, even when I do lives on my channel too, I feel like whoever shows up and asks for a reading, it's for everybody. The messages come in for everybody. Absolutely, Rob.
Yeah. We had one more super chat. This was from Don and Kyla. And he just wants to know, are Kyla and I going to be moving? He wants to know.
Don, if you're in the chat, maybe let me know where you are as well.
He's in Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada.
He's somewhat near. I remember him saying he's somewhat near you.
Like are you in? I think he's in British Columbia.
I think he's on the West Coast. I'd have to scroll to the bottom of the comments.
It says right on, Rob. Don, are you in British Columbia?
What's interesting about Don is he's done hypnosis with me and Maya a couple of times. We put him under, and he's had some like secret space program ties, and he has some really interesting. He's had some really interesting regressions. We've done them live on my channel. So yeah, he's
Alberta. Okay.
Alberta.
So I have a question for Don. I'm pulling some cards for you. Don, do you and Kyla, do you want to move?
Here's what he said here. He says, "Are we heading in the right direction with trying to move to a new home?"
Okay.
That's
what. Like, are you going to stay in? Do you want to stay in Alberta? You just want to leave where you are and move into a higher. So I'm looking at moving now differently. I'm looking at moving as like we're being called to move into a higher grid point, which I think is super cool, right? So that was my question. I'm pulling some cards for you, but I'm already getting the message. If that's what you wish to manifest, yes. Because oftentimes we'll start getting the intuition and the guidance to move when it's not where we are kind of our contract's complete and we're being called to go somewhere else. So what's super interesting for you, Don? I'm getting right away. If you want to move, north. Okay, cool. So I have what's interesting about Alberta. I have a really real connection with Edmonton and Calgary and north of Edmonton and Banff. That area, I've got family in and around that area, and I've actually traveled there quite a bit as well. So if you're so it's interesting. If you're being called to move into like a higher frequency area and with trees, because that's what came in, like trees, like a higher and the Gaia gateway activation. So if you're being called to move into a higher frequency area, yes. You're also, the third eye came in twice. So you and your partner are supposed to visualize this to help it manifest even sooner than you're thinking. And if it hasn't been working out right now and you've been feeling stuck, there's been some interference. So I'm not sure where you are right now, Don. I don't know if you're in a city, but you and Kyla together are so powerful that absolutely. And I love this. Okay, I have to read this. This says Gaia Gateway Activation. So I feel like you're being called to a more powerful ley line and gateway and vortex. So there are super powerful stargates and vortexes in Canada that are not mapped yet. And that's what they've been working with me about. So I feel like you're being called to go to a higher frequency area. And you're going to receive more earth intelligence and wisdom intelligence. So yeah, if that's what you're wishing to manifest, absolutely.
I would say go for it too. If it feels right, right? If it resonates with you. So what do you mean? Do you mean like we're being shifted by like an extraterrestrial presence to maybe put it, or our higher self, maybe not an extraterrestrial presence, but more our higher self, to put us into a better place for us, into a
Yeah.
better grid?
Yeah. So I went through a
Yeah.
period where I got removed from my home. And what's so interesting is I'm back in this area anyway, but it was kind of part of my Wizard of Oz adventure journey where I got moved into different grid points around the city. I got moved into the city. I had to experience all these different energies and timelines. And then I realized I just wanted to come back where I am because it's a higher frequency. So I think on a soul level, we get to the point where we know I can do better work and have clearer downloads and be of more value and be of more service if I'm living in a higher frequency area. Some of us don't have a choice right now. Some of us are in cities. Some of us are, that's where we are. That's where our family is. But you know what? It's like ground zero. You're going to learn so much being in the city at this time, and your light is needed as well. But yeah, I feel like I'm just laughing at one of the comments. I feel like, yeah, I have a little story about Vancouver. We just did some grid work about Vancouver, and they took me all the way back before Vancouver was even built. They took me back to when it was all just sacred land and trees. And a lot of where the cities are located around the planet were strategic plans to take down the vibration of the grids. So a couple of key points that brought Vancouver down were the 2010 Olympics and 86 Expo, and I went to both of them. So I was already working to transmute and clear the energy of both of those events, and I had no idea. Like, we just did the piece about Vancouver just a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, but basically we're taking everything back. But some of us are going to be called to move to a higher frequency area. We just kind of feel it. And if we don't, sometimes what will happen too, what happened to me for a number of years was I would hit the expiry level in a certain location and I would be gutted. It's time to quantum jump and move to another frequency. So it's our higher self, our team, whoever we're working with. And on a deep soul level, we are all, I feel that was the message I was getting. We are all, it kind of is like the end of the year, a new year thing. And I feel like many of us are going to kind of feel, if we're supposed to, before the next eclipse in April, that we're going to want to be where we need to be. Oh, did I lose you, Rob? Did you freeze?
I agree.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, Vancouver had a protest last night?
We got one.
They fill me in. I have no idea what's going on. What was the protest?
Yeah, they got to fill us in. I don't know anything about it.
I don't either. That's cool. So I'll tell you, we did this grid work and they gave me a date and it ended up being 2 days before the lunar eclipse. And then I found out that for whatever reason, that lunar eclipse hit Vancouver. It was all aligned astrologically to shift a bunch of energy in Vancouver. And that's so interesting because I was given the date like 3 weeks before. And once we did the grid work, the energy was unbelievable, even where I am. It felt like all these cobwebs got removed and it elevated everything. So I feel like that ripple effect will start to shift even the people that are living in the city. Maybe a lot more people are going to decide they want to leave the city, that kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I don't know what the protest was about, but I'll have to research it and see what's going on.
This is a good one here. This is from Pat Windsor. And thank you for your $5 donation, Pat. He says, hi, Pink Bella. Do I have any implants left or clearings yet to be done? I want my frequencies high. How do we know? Right?
He's giving me permission to scan him. I'm just going to ask his higher self. Pat, I'm just going to ask, have you had like a JSEALS removal? Have you had implants removed? Or that was just my first question to you. I'm going to pull some cards. I'm getting that there are a couple, but that's quite normal because even myself, when I went through the JSEALS, I have this advanced one now because even last year I was given that there were a few more connected to the dark ETs. And it's like sometimes what will happen is we'll get to a level where like now it's time for them all to go. So I am, yeah, okay. So I am hearing like you've got maybe 3 and they're connected to the Anunnaki. But again, that's, you can work with your team and help to dissolve them. But I even myself, I will go through sometimes and go, oh, I feel something weird. Is there something else there? Depending on what we do for a living or where who we're around, they can kind of reactivate something as well. So I think for like 2 years, I was consistently removing the JSEALS. They're gone now for me, but they, I'm always scanning in and checking in, like what else are they up to? But oftentimes it's ancestral. It's ancestral imprinting that we came in to clear. And then I wasn't able to clear things for good for about 2 years. But last year I was given like the baton, like you can start to do this for yourself and for others. Like I had to learn about the dark arts. I had to understand about all of them and then not be afraid of them. And then we get this whole, you don't have any control over me. Forget it. I'm over the game. Yeah. Right. But I had to get through all that. Like it brought up a lot of fear for me, but I'm hearing that you've got a couple and they're connected to the Anunnaki, but let me just pull some cards for you too.
Okay. You can help him dissolve those too, right? If he wants to come
to you, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And not to be, and there might be some other souls out there that what I started to do the last round of JSEALS, and I offer it as a distance session. You just relax at home. I'm scanning for that now. I'm scanning if there's anything extra, because we've moved into a higher frequency now, and sometimes that's the last piece that's holding us into the old matrix. Right. So, okay. So right away, they're letting me know for you to use the violet flame, work with the violet flame. And wow, there might even be some meditations out there on YouTube that are like violet flame and, Anunnaki seal removal. It's to help you learn, it's to help you move into another level and free you on a soul level. We can't leave here. We can't move into the new matrix if we've got any connection to the old one. And that's the leveling up part. That's what we're all trying to do. And your star family can assist you as well. Okay. This is so interesting. At the bottom of the deck is Halls of Amenti. I'm just going to pull another card for him. Halls of Amenti is some of the implants are connected to the Halls of Amenti, and that's just so. Again, it's like it's connecting us to other timelines. It's connecting us to past lives. We don't want that. Yeah. Like we want to remember it, like the Atlantis. We want to bring those gifts to us, and remember the good days. But we don't want to. We don't want to carry that around with us. It's blocking your third eye. It's blocking your third eye in your crown area, and once you move through it, you'll be able to, be incredibly high vibe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm seeing if we have anybody else. I wonder if Pat Windsor and Andromedan are similar, because Andromedan had a question too. I was trying to find his question. The Andromedan wanted to know if he had implants as well. So all these people want to know if they have. Here it is. Like he says, this is I guess maybe this will be the last one. But he says it's so interesting. All these people want to know if they have implants. Like
it's a big step one to know that they exist. So let's break it down a little bit so there's no fear or anything around it. I could feel them. Yeah. You guys can go to my website too. I've got like an image of the original JSEALs. There's 7 of them, and they're usually down the left side, but some people have it down the right side. And you might have like psychic attacks, or you might always have something that comes in on a certain side. And that I started to just dig, like, what is that? And then I heard, you've got some seals and some implants. So the history, and I've got some videos on my channel as well. There's a playlist as well. I went into the history of it last year, but that's how the grid system was brought down. That's how our DNA got blocked from expanding. Was they created these implants. All the teams, they were all involved. Probably the AI was at the back end of it. And what they did was when we incarnated with like 2 strands of DNA, nothing else. And we have like these things within us that's blocking the flow in our elevation. So they didn't want me to remove them from me. I helped a lot of people last year. They didn't want me to do that either. I had a lot of interference. So if you haven't had a JSEALS Andromeda, like a removal or dissolving, you probably do have them, but I'm going to pull some cards for you as well. Because I would say when we want to ask questions about something, like if we're thinking, oh, I might have some implants, you probably do. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something that we inherited as part of our incarnation fun program. Right? So let me just see. Oh, unbelievable. This is why we pull cards. Okay. So yes, because the Anunnaki card came in. So yes, you do.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So you do Andromeda, but that's okay because I did too, right? So what's so cool about the sessions that I do is that I scan and give a percentage of what was there and then what dissolves. And they usually give me like, it might be 6 weeks for you or 8 weeks, but it'll be gentle. It dissolves gently over time, right? But it says, yeah, Anunnaki light, because I only have one card with them. It's the end of a cycle for you, right? And then once you move through that, when you're ready to move through that, it's going to open everything up. It's going to open up your throat chakra. Our throat chakra has so many lock and key codes on it for our other abilities to open up as well, because we're verbal beings. So it works both ways. It's like, let them elevate slowly and move out of the darkness, but only give them their abilities back a bit at a time. And when we're ready for the JSEALS removal, that's huge. Like, I was already receiving downloads. It's not that we don't receive downloads without the removal, but it starts to feel like we're carrying something around that is not natural. And to me, it was like, I want to be a sovereign being and I don't want them to have any access to me at all. So that's kind of what I worked in. So that's for you. It'll open up your throat chakra. It says Temple of Truth. It will reconnect your heart to the heart of source, which is so beautiful, and reactivate your Merkaba. And that's reactivate it and heal it and elevate it. So they're also giving us this ability gradually that our Merkabas will come back online, because right now, I think a lot of starseeds would just like to leave and go home. So if we have all of our abilities and we have our Merkabas, we're all just going to zip off the planet and go wherever we want to go. So it's been it's a reminder of like, we are here to help one another. And
do work, right? We have work to do here. Like, we can't just take off. Like, we have to fix this situation.
Exactly.
Almost, right?
Exactly. So I just want to pull one more card for the Andromeda. And thank you, Andromeda, for asking, because it's going to bring in messages for everyone. Andromeda, and if you're not already, you're to get grounded and spend time out in nature as well. And that will bring in more insights for you. Great message for everyone, because you're highly sensitive, you're highly empathic already, and you have such a connection to nature. I'm going to share that most of us who incarnated, even if we don't feel like we want to be here right now, we came here for Gaia. We came here for the earth. We love her. Right? We love her. She's like, we don't want to see her harmed anymore. She's also elevated. We came to free not only our friends and our family, we came to free the earth from this whole system that was holding her like basically as a hostage. She's a living being. So nature's like one of my favorite places to go. And I was shown a couple of weeks ago, it immediately raises our vibration, and we're receiving downloads and activations when we're out in nature.
I agree. And it's the best place to be, and because I find a lot of times that I'm like, and when I'm in my podcast studio, I have my phone here, I have my internet router. I mean, I don't know about for you guys, but for me, it's just too much. Like, when I step out of it and I go outside, I feel so much better. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like I just feel like a weight's been lifted once I go out in the nature. Me
too. They do also, even like, so I had all the, like, just to share with everyone, I had all the implants still within me. I started working on them myself in 2020, but I completely released everything last year. And then I think there was another level like 3 months later. But I wanted to share with you all that is normal, that we get to part of our evolution when we feel them. We might have like aches and pains in the same area all the time. We might feel like we're with a group of people, and even though we're shielding, we come in and like we still feel like we've been attacked or something's attached to us. So it's normal. It's part of our evolution. And it's because we came in not only to free ourselves, but also our bloodlines, our ancestral lines. And that DNA got dumbed down thousands of years ago. That was the whole idea of like, keep the humans that they don't understand how wonderful that they are. They don't understand that they're creators. We have unique DNA, and we are the most unique beings in our galaxy and the universe. So we're at those of us that are galactics. It's such an honor to be here, but you have to work through that, knowing you're here on a mission, that you are we were called, or we got talked into it. Right. So,
Yeah.
but it is part and parcel. Like when we're ready to have them dissolved and released, it's time for it to go. It just elevates us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. We have like 50 people watching on YouTube, and then we have 20 people watching on Rumble. So it's like, that's a good crowd, 70 people. It's not bad. Like, is there anything else you wanted to cover today before we finish up, or?
I don't, the only thing is, I am not a Christmas person. I am so into the Christmas vibe right now because it's all about joy. Like that message about keeping our vibe high. So whatever brings you joy right now, do it, because that frequency is like elevating everybody on the planet. And so I've already moved out of like the Christmas program. I never liked it. I didn't like all of like what's been pushed on us. But this year it's like I'm already like, no, it's all about joy. Like I'm into that joy frequency right now. That's what I've tapped into. So I just would recommend everybody move into some kind of thing that brings you joy.
Can I tell you, I went to my mom's house for dinner, and she had on The Christmas Story. It was on already. They were showing it on TBS, and it just, when I saw that, I have like a lot of nostalgic to that movie. So that like brought like almost like a feeling of like nostalgia to me, and like, I don't know, like a little bit of depression, but it was good feelings though. You know what I mean? It just gives you that good feeling.
I know. Well, I was going to say, I think if we like focus on the good feelings, it's like a little warm, comfy blanket and a cup of hot cocoa, right? Focus on the good feelings, because we can still, the bottom line of the season is spending time with friends and family and laughing. And they don't want us to do that. As we can all see, they're bringing in all these things to make sure that we're all like upset and sad.
Yeah.
And no, like, do what you don't feel, release the guilt around all of that. That's that Billy Joel song, "We Didn't Start the Fire." That movie is going to continue on until we get past it. But in the meanwhile, the joy frequency allows us to be on a different timeline. They can't see us. They can't find us. They can't bother us. And that is like, it's going around the world. It's elevating the grids, and it's elevating all of us. So, and you're going to learn more about yourself. When you're in that high frequency, you're going to get ideas and more ideas about your mission and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is amazing. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? And thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome today. Yeah. Everyone, if you want to follow me on YouTube and Telegram and Rumble, I get into some deeper things. I think the links are below. My website is alohapinkbella.weebly.com, and it's all about soul missions right now. I've got some offers on for soul missions as well. So if you need a deep dive reading or an activation, that's kind of at the top of the list right now to get you all up and running for January for 2024. I can't believe we're almost in 2024.
I know this went by so fast. It was too fast. It was crazy. Like I feel like Art Bell was right when he said we were in the quickening, like that. Like things are speeding up, and I don't know why it is, but maybe it has something to do with the frequency. Like
I think so.
If we're at a higher frequency, things are going to move faster. Maybe this is how things move in the higher realms. Like things move quicker. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. This year has just gone by like that. Like we only have 6 weeks left of the year. That's it.
So I guess my final words are, guys, like, just enjoy life, right? I mean, I think you can take anything away from this show. Like, try to enjoy your life because it goes by so fast. Wow.
It does,
right?
Yeah. Anyway, it's been an honor to be here. I've been so grateful. So thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, everybody. And don't forget to support the podcast. And thank you for everybody who super chatted. And